home of the Scottsbluff Bearcats, and we're getting set for a late morning kickoff here in the Mountain Time Zone for the 46th edition of the West Nebraska All-Star Football Game. We've got listeners all across the Rural Radio Network in the Lexington area and the far reaches of KRVN, along with our Broken Bow station as well. We appreciate all of our East Team fans tuning in for today's contest, and of course our audience here in Western Nebraska listening on 107.3 The Trail, and our stream available online at KHYYFM.com. Live stream available for you on our KDB.TV YouTube channel. We've got pregame coaches' comments to get to here in a moment. We'll start with East head coach. That's Alma's Brendan Johnson today. And then after that, we'll hear from Mitchell head coach Nick Cookshausen. Cookshausen leading the West team this week along the near sideline. We'll bring Jeff in after we get to coaches' comments, but we'll hear from both head coaches ahead of kickoff. We'll start again with Brendan Johnson from Alma, the head coach for the East, when we come back after this 2-minute timeout across the Rural Radio Network. They're going to kick off before 11, I guarantee it.
East is going to receive.
Okay.
Come down to the track over by the ambulance. I'd like to have a short meeting with you. Again, any coaches that have previously coached in this game, would you please come down by the ambulance in the southwest corner? Thank you. Back to receive the kick from the east. Number 2, Quincy Reichner, and number 11, Bruce Bronick.
What a year was your Marshall football first ever playoff win in history, a day you'll never forget, right?
Doing the kicking for the West, number 6, Jake Curtis.
This is brutal. Looks like we're going to get kickoff here just a few moments ahead of 11 a.m. Mountain Time. So we're kicking off just a couple of minutes early. And Chris Cottrell, Jeff Kelly, glad to have you on board here on the Rural Radio Network. West kicks it off. East will have the football to begin here late this morning at Bearcat Stadium. On the return is Cruz Safranik from Broken Bow, and he'll bring it out across the 40-yard line. Out across the 45, it looks like they'll spot the football at the 46. Now, in talking with both head coaches, we don't really have a true depth chart. We more have position groupings. So we'll make sure we mention everybody on the game field as we see them shuffled in and out. But East football to begin here at Bearcat Stadium. Lovely afternoon, or will be a lovely afternoon once we get there. Still late morning here in western Nebraska, early afternoon back in the central time zone. Brendan Johnson from Alma, the head coach. He's got a spread formation, and he'll use his own starting quarterback from his program, Jake and Neal. Little fly sweep action. And on the carry that time was Quincy Riker of Twin Loop, 5'9", 175, and he'll take it right to midfield for a gain of 5.
We're going to probably see a lot of that here this afternoon, as Coach Johnson said in his pregame comments. A lot of motion from this Alma offense.
Second down and 5, 15-minute quarters here for our all-star action today. Two receivers to the right. Riker just carried the football back in motion. They'll fake the handoff to Riker. This time the give goes to McCook's Brett Fraker. Fraker across midfield, tackled for a short gain, maybe 2, possibly 3. We'll see where they spot the football as Fraker picks up a couple, and that'll make it 3rd down and about 2.5 yards here for the East squad.
Good job by Shadron's Gage Wild to get in there and get a hand on Fraker, limit that gain by the McCook product.
Fraker should be the main tailback as far as ball carrying is concerned today. We've seen Riker out of the slot. We'll see Safranik as well. 3rd down and a couple. 13:36 to play here in the first quarter. Neal under center. He'll turn and hand it to Fraker. Fraker's going to be stacked up, shy of the line to gain to move the chains. He'll be brought down at the 46-yard line for a pickup of 1, and that'll set up 4th down and a yard now for the East team.
First couple of times, Jake and Neal going in the gun. This time he goes up under center in a true I formation for the East that time.
The receivers and tight ends listed for the East are going to be Cooper Kane from Gothenburg, Jesse Mock of North Platte, Sergio Lawarca of Lexington, Alec Malzahn of Alma, and Cash Gracie from South Loop. We'll see what they look to do here. I formation, a little bit of a hard count, and now we get a little collision, and it looks like the West has come up with an early 4th down stop as they stacked up Xavier Albertson of North Platte in the backfield for no gain, and the West gets the 4-down stop, a turnover on downs, and the boys in red will have it 1st and 10 as the East comes up empty on their opening possession here today.
Of course, we've got some different rules. They have to run a four-man defensive front, and they can't do any. They can slant, but they can't twist or loop. So with kind of those handcuffs on you, nice job by the West defense to put them out on downs.
Brock Berry lined up as the quarterback, but the snap will come to Luke Colley of Sydney. And this is just sort of the regular Mitchell-style offense. We didn't get to it in the conversation there with Nick Cookshausen, the head coach for Mitchell, but he said we'll see a little variation. We'll see what we run at Mitchell, and then they've got some change-ups in the playbook this week as well. For Holly, what a year it was for Sydney High School with their run to the state semifinals. He picks up 5 on 1st down. 2nd down and 5 for the West team. Shadron's Brock Berry at the helm. Claps his hand. High snap comes to Holly. Handoff back underneath on the carry is Baird's Colby Houchin. Houchin takes it inside the 40 to the 39-yard line. A gain of 11 for Baird's Colby Houchin. And it's going to be tricky stuff for this East defense to get a handle on what Nick Cookshausen likes to run at Mitchell, isn't it, Jeff?
And, of course, a lot of the offense that Mitchell ran last year ran through Cale Peters, who is in Lincoln today playing in the Shrine Bowl.
And you've got Sebastian Boyle also at the Shrine Bowl and Isaac Doty from Sydney. Guys that would have been on this West team. A little speed option look this time. Barry on the keeper inside the 35. He'll be dropped down at around the 37-yard, or check that, the 33-yard line for a pickup of around 6 yards. And that'll set up 2nd down here at about 4 yards now for the West offense that's doing a nice job on the move here early on. The East has won this game the last 4 years, so the West would love to get off to a quick start here and take an early lead. We've got 11 minutes and 15 seconds to play in the opening quarter. Strong side to the left. The snap will come to Luke Colley of Sydney. He's going to have enough for the 1st down. And in on the tackle from North Platte, Xavier Albertson. So Holly picks up enough to move the chains. Pickup of about 6 yards for Holly. It'll be 1st down and 10 now for this West offense. Picking up some chunk yardage here early on this opening drive. Zach Aguayo from Gehring, sort of that tight set fullback. Barry in the gun. He'll take the snap. A little speed option play action. Barry floats one far sideline down around the 10-yard line, incomplete out of bounds. And that'll set up 2nd down and 10, looking to take a shot play there with their first pass attempt here this morning.
Gehring Zach Aguayo, usually last year for Gehring on the offensive line and played linebacker on defense. Looking at him out there wearing that number 44, a little bit different, seeing him lined up in the offensive backfield.
32-man roster for the West, the East with a 31-man roster, as they had one no-show this week. The snap, handoff comes to Houchin from Baird, trying to turn the corner. Nice job defensively that time. Rhett McFadden of Sandhill Thedford making the tackle for the East team. 2-yard gain for Houchin. And Jeff, I mentioned this at the banquet last night. What a show Sandhill Thedford put on in that state title game last year.
Yeah, they were just incredible game by Sandhill Thedford.
So they'll give Houchin 3. It'll set up 3rd down and 7. They had the incomplete pass on 1st down, and now Barry goes to the spread formation. Trips right. He'll take a couple of steps that direction, surveys the defense, and he'll just throw it into the turf. The pressure was put on that time by Alma's Drew Neubauer, 6 feet, 200 pounds, and that'll set up 4th down and 7.
A little bit of a breakdown there on the West offensive line, allowing Neubauer to get in there and get to Brock Berry before he could complete that pass. Just amazes me, these players that come in, they're only here a short time and they pick up that offense just that quickly. I mean, this isn't just a standard offense. I'm sure there's a lot of idiosyncrasies to it that all these players that weren't associated with Mitchell had to pick up very quickly.
2 receivers set to each side, ball left hash. Snap back to Barry. He'll loft one down the middle. Pass is incomplete. Intended target that time was Houchin out of the right slot. Little loft on that pass, and a couple of receivers, Jeff, sort of in the same area, and that drew a couple of defensive backs right there, and the ball winds up incomplete down around the 5-yard line. So both teams turn the ball over on downs on their initial possessions here today. 46th edition for the West Nebraska All-Star football game. Quite a testament to the game and everyone that's been involved in running it over that amount of time. 46 years, pretty impressive stuff.
It has been here for a long time and established, and for a long time just one of 2 high school all-star football games in the state of Nebraska.
Trips left, single receiver right. They'll change up the quarterback here for the East on this possession. It's Gothenburg's Trey Stevens. Pass was caught. They said it was a catch, knee down when the ball hit the turf on the catch that time. I think that was Cash Gracie of South Loop.
Yes.
For no gain, so it'll be 2nd down and 10. Gracie 6'3", 170. South Loop product, 2nd and 10. Ball left hash mark. Slot receiver left, short motion. Now he'll continue across the formation. They'll pitch it to McCooks Fraker, running near side. Boy, tried to stutter step. Now he's trying to reverse field. Change of direction. Back to the line of scrimmage. Far sideline, tackled out of bounds. And making the stop defensively, I believe that was Gunnar Foster, 6 foot, 185-pounder from Paxton. Pretty impressive run there for Fraker. Turned about a 6-7 yard loss into close to a 5-yard gain.
And he was able to get away from Chase County's Jared Peterson, who had the first shot at him. He was able to spin out of that tackle.
9 minutes, 4 seconds to play here in the first quarter. 15-minute quarters. We'll have a 20-minute halftime break here today. Stack 3 receivers out to the right, single receiver left. Stevens under pressure, rolling right. Stevens near the 30. He'll tuck it. And he's got the first down. Hit out of bounds here on the near side by Shadron's Gage Wild. They'll spot the football at the 40. That'll be a pickup of 11 on the run for Gothenburg's Trey Stevens.
Stevens a little bit more of a throwing threat, I think, than Jake and Neal is, just based on the offense that Alma ran.
You saw Alma when they came west to play Bridgeport in the first round of the state playoffs.
And it was a tight game up until halftime, and then Bridgeport kind of took control in the second half. Peyton Abbott, who will call his name sometime during this game for the West team, was really the difference in that one.
Scoreless, 8:55. This is our 3rd offensive possession of the game. Each team with a 4-down stop defensively to open up play today. East picking up the first down, 1st and 10. They've got it, nose of the football resting on the East 40. Shotgun snap, Stevens threw that pass backwards, so that should be a run out to the left. And big stick out of bounds, and we're getting a flag thrown. Cooper Dillon of Chase County, I think, going to be flagged for the late hit. Who came up with that grab?
It was a...
or the lateral.
Was it Safranek that...
Yes, Cruz Safranek. So that'll be a gain of 4 on the carry for Safranek. And then after the mark-off, that'll take the ball across midfield, and they'll spot it at the west 41-yard line. So second time into plus territory here for the East offense after the 15-yard penalty. 1st and 10. 2 receivers left. Safranek in motion. They'll hand it off to Fraker. Gage Wild. Fraker breaks the Wild tackle. Fraker still on his feet. Pushed out of bounds. Looks like he might be maybe a yard shy of the first down. Give him 9 for McCook's Brett Fraker.
Of course, McCook last couple of years has been down in C1 and really haven't had a chance to see McCook against Scottsbluff and against Gehring, but this year McCook on the Gehring schedule.
8:42 to play here in this opening quarter. Still scoreless. 46th annual West Nebraska All-Star football game. 2 receivers left. Safranek in the slot. Stevens fakes the handoff, keeps it. First to arrive defensively for the West team was Jarrett Peterson of Chase County.
Jared Peterson from his defensive tackle position, able to get in there a couple times, and that time able to wrap up Stevens after he kind of missed Fraker in the backfield a couple plays back.
Clock running, 8 minutes and 30 seconds to play here in the opening quarter. 1st and 10 now for the East team. They've won 4 straight West Nebraska All-Star football games. 3 receivers to the right, single receiver to the left. They'll throw it out here to Safranek. The Broken Bow product breaks a tackle, and then he's bumped out of bounds near side by Chase Gracie from Mullen. And Safranek on the catch will move the chains. Pickup of 11. And that'll move it inside the 20 down to the 18-yard line.
East having a lot of success with that little bubble screen that head coach Brendan Johnson talked about in his pregame comments.
They'll stack 2 receivers out to the left. Single receiver here to the right is Jesse Mock from North Platte. Not much doing on the inside. Handoff to Brett Fraker from McCook. That'll take us under 8 minutes to play. It'll be a gain of 2 yards. Hemingford's Theron Miller on the tackle. Yep. That'll make it 2nd down and 8. West Nebraska volleyball will be this afternoon at WNCC's Cougar Palace starting at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. We'll run down the offensive line grouping here for you after this next play. They'll fake the handoff, and knocking down that screen pass was Nolan Foster from Perkins County, doing a nice job. Kind of pulled up the reins on himself, got a handout, and batted that ball down. So looking at your offensive line grouping for the East, you've got Caleb Tamala from Gothenburg, North Platte's Alex Gove, Caden Gibbons of Lexington, Evan Cyberon from Broken Bow, Chris Ruano from Cozad, and Gothenburg's Cole Atkinson. You'll see that grouping kind of cycling through along the offensive line here for the East team. After the incompletion, it'll be 3rd down and 8 now for the East. Trips left. Single receiver here to the right is Gracie. Fraker in the backfield. Stevens takes the snap. Pass is caught. That's Mock from North Platte, and that's going to be a touchdown, ladies and gentlemen. A 17-yard strike. Mock was lined up as the outside receiver on the slant route. Stevens hit him in stride. Jesse Mock made one defender miss and took it into the end zone for the opening touchdown here in today's West Nebraska All-Star football game. It comes with 7:21 to play in the first quarter.
Just a nice job from Stevens to Jesse Mock that time, and Jesse Mock able to do the rest and get the ball into the end zone.
Eli Coble from Broken Bow boots the PAT through, and with 7:21 to play here in the opening quarter, it is 7-0 East, leading the West here on the Rural Radio Network. We're back in 1 minute. Gothenburg's Trey Stevens connecting with North Platte's Jesse Mock on a 17-yard touchdown pass. And the PAT knocked in by Eli Coble from Broken Bow. And it is a 7-0 East lead here with 7:21 to play in the opening quarter. West set to get the football. Both return men standing at around the 10-yard line. Lovely late morning of weather. Kick comes short. That's Colby Houchin from Baird on the return, out across the 30, tackled shy of the 35-yard line, and the West will take over.
We haven't seen it yet, but one of the other kind of rule changes in this game is if the kickoff should go into the end zone, they can return it from the end zone. You know, usually in high school football, if it gets into the end zone, it comes out to the 20-yard line, so a little bit different here, which I think upsets Todd Mangini because he holds the kickoff return record of 99 yards.
Unbelievable. He also said last night at the banquet, back in the day when these games started, when he played in 1982, the kids were here for 10 days for preparation. Unbelievable. 1st and 10 handoff, and not a lot going that time for the West team. On the carry was Peyton Abbott from Bridgeport. That'll be a pickup of 1. That'll set up 2nd down and 9. Brock Berry still in at quarterback here, leading the way for Nick Cookshausen and the West team. He's got Luke Colley from Sidney to his left. Looks like that tight set fullback is Baird's Houchin. Snap to Berry. They'll snap it, though, to Luke Colley. Berry, a lead blocker. Holly, he'll take it out to the 40, maybe 41-yard line. We'll see where they spot the football. That'll be a gain of 6 for Luke Holly and sets up 3rd down. And 3. Abbott from Bridgeport runs the play into Shadron's Brock Berry. 6 minutes and 10 seconds to play here in the first quarter. East leading 7-0. Ball right hash mark. Holly to the left of Berry. 3rd down play. Start right. Berry comes back to the left on the keeper. He's going to get right to the sticks, it looks like. This will be signaled a 1st down, so a gain of 3, and that'll move the chains for Shadron's Brock Berry. Up front defensively for the East, you'll have Max Stinson from Broken Bow. We've mentioned Drew Neubauer from Alma. Zeb Wild from Sandhill Stedford in on the tackle there. And the defensive tackles will include Drew Knitzer from Highline and Kozad's Tyree Smith. 1st and 10 for the West squad. They trail 7-0. Football at their own 44-yard line. Single receiver out here to the left. Everything pretty tight with the other 10 offensive players. Snap comes to the running back, Lou Colley, and he's going to be dropped for no gain right at the line of scrimmage. Knitzer from Highline, first to arrive defensively with the tackle for the East team. 2nd down and 10, 5:05 to play here in the first quarter.
East defensive front kind of settling in just a little bit, doing a better job on the direct snap play that goes to Lou Colley that saw some success on the West's first offensive possession.
Unbalanced line here in a major way. They'll run speed option to the right. Barry pitches it to Holly. And we're going to get a flag thrown from over near the east sideline. Just where that occurred during the play and where it was thrown, it makes you think it's going to be offensive holding. And moving backwards behind the chains here for the West team. Holding is the call. 70 degrees, Jeff, at kickoff. Now 72. Little bit of wind, but couldn't ask for much better weather for late morning football in western Nebraska today.
No, yesterday was a little overcast, a little cool, but it's broken through today. I think we're going to have a nice weekend here in western Nebraska. Holding is the call on the West, their second penalty that sets them back. Of course, they were flagged for a late hit earlier here in the first quarter.
Couple of flags so far on the West after the mark-off. They are back inside their own 40-yard line, looking at 2nd down at around 15. Barry senses the pressure, scrambles away. Barry, big run. He's got a 1st down, and he'll be tackled over on the far sideline inside the East 45 at the 43. That'll be a gain of 19 for Brock Barry on the scramble. Did a nice job stepping up in the pocket, felt the pressure, and then just tucked it, got upfield, and a big gainer for Shadron's Brock Barry.
Of course, the Shadron High Cardinals every year winning record for that Shadron Cardinal team, and they always seem to have 2 or 3 standout players on the offensive side of the ball.
Gage Wild here as well today, along with Brock Barry. 1st and 10 for the West. Barry claps his hand. Inside handoff comes to Bridgeport's Peyton Abbott. That'll be a short gain. Pickup of 1. And on the stop that time, Zeb Wild from Sandhills Thedford helping out on the tackle to be 2nd down and 8. So they'll give Abbott 2. And the West team will approach the line of scrimmage at the East 41-yard line. East in front, 7-0 with 3:45 to play here in the opening quarter. Little option look. Barry on the keeper. Fake the pitch to Holly. Coming up from the secondary to help out on the tackle. Eli Coble.
I had Treg and McNally from Ainsworth also in there on that stop.
So McNally, 5'9", 160 pounds. And on that carry for Barry, it'll be spotted at the 36, so a pickup of 5. Makes it 3rd down and 3. Heavy formation here. Mitchell's Nick Cookshausen took this from the Scottsbluff offensive playbook. The handoff goes to Lou Colley. He'll stretch the football. Might have been enough at the last moment for a 1st down, but it looks like they're going to spot him shy. So the knee went down just inside the 35-yard line. So that'll be a gain of 2 for Lou Colley and brings up 4th down and 1 for the West team. We'll see if they stay in the heavy formation. They will, and now we'll get a timeout taken by Brendan Johnson, the head coach for the East from Alma.
Had somebody needed to be off the field as they almost got caught with 10 players, or 12 players, I should say, on the field as Zeb Wild had to run off the field at the last minute for the East.
One thing, we'll keep it right here during this timeout. One thing I noticed, the minute the whistle blew and the East realized they were taking timeout, everybody along the defensive front had helmet off, looking for a water bottle, walking over to meet with their coaching staff. So something to keep an eye on. Football shape is not what these guys are in, and you can't work your way into it from Wednesday to Saturday.
That's right, and even if it is 70 degrees outside with a little bit of a breeze, with all that equipment on, it's still a little bit of a struggle.
So this heavy formation, Judd Hall, the head coach for Scottsbluff, installed this when Sebastian Harsh was the quarterback. And, of course, Mitchell runs a similar style offense, and they've taken this heavy package, and they're using it here on third and now fourth down. Luke Colley from Sydney's going to have the first. Not by much. Big stick delivered that time. Rhett McFadden from Sandhills Thedford. We've seen some great performances from some Sandhills Thedford kids here over the years in this West Nebraska All-Star game.
Look at these, we've got 8-man kids here. We got, of course, 11-man kids. We also have 6-man kids here, and a lot of times these 6-man kids really want to show that even at the 6-man level they can still play.
1st and 10. Holly picks up the first down. They'll go to a bit of a spread formation. High delivery on the pass. It is complete. With it at the 30 is Tristan Timbers from Alliance on the catch and run. They'll spot the football at around the 27, so gain of about 5 there as Barry connects with Tristan Timbers from Alliance. Tackle made by North Platte's Landon O'Brien. It'll make it 2nd down and 5. We've got a minute and 42 seconds to go here in this opening quarter. 7-0 East. West on the move, though. Ball left hash mark. With it at the East 27-yard line. Barry will give to Houchin. Started in motion. Good job defensively. They string it out. And really not a lot doing on that fly sweep action that time, as Colby Houchin stopped for no gain. They'll give him 1. So it'll be 3rd down and 4 now for the West side. Heading off the field is Tyree Smith. They'll get a substitute in along the defensive line for that East squad. Big 3rd down play coming up. 4-down territory here, you would imagine, for Nick Cookshausen and the West. Josh Dean from Hemmingford, his offensive assistant coach this week. Barry takes the snap. Starts left, pump fake, little wheel route, wide open. This will go for 6. And that's Oglala's Jaden Curtis on the out and up along the near sideline. A 26-yard touchdown pass. It comes with 38 seconds to play as Barry connects with Jaden Curtis from Ogallala, and that makes it 7-6.
Nobody within 10 yards of Jaden Curtis that time. An easy pitch and catch for Brock Barry to Jaden Curtis for the touchdown.
Much easier during the high school, and Curtis is on to attempt the PAT, so is looking for a 7-point possession for himself personally. Knocks it through. We are tied at 7 with 38 seconds to play here in this opening quarter. Both teams on the board. 7-7 our score, back in 1 minute on the Rural Radio Network. The west side on the board here with a Shadron Brockberry to Ogallala Jaden Curtis, 26-yard touchdown pass. Kickoff's going to come down short. That's Xavier Albertson from North Platte on the return. He fielded that around the 34-yard line. He'll be tackled shy of the, or was that Cooper Kane from Gothenburg? Yeah, it was
Cooper Kane from Gothenburg. I don't know if he got a little bit too far underneath that ball and popped that up, or if that was planned.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the East at the 39-yard line. So Gothenburg's Kane on the return of about 7 yards. Jake and Neal from Alma back in at quarterback for the East. They'll throw a little quick toss out here behind the line of scrimmage. That looked like a backward pass, did it not?
Yep, it did.
So on the carry that time, that was Quincy Riker from Twin Loop. Takes it across the 40 to the 43-yard line, a pickup of 4, and that'll set up 2nd down and 6 now for the East side. Along the defensive front, you'll see rotating in and out at DN, Ethan Harden from Mullen, Hemmingford's Theron Miller, Perkins County Nolan Foster, and Jackson Schwartz from Minutair. Jeff mentioned the 6-man guys playing this week. Horn sounds, we've come to the end of the first quarter. Tied at 7, 46th edition for the West Nebraska All-Star football game. And after the opening 15 minutes of play, East and West tied at 7. We're back after this 1-minute timeout on the Rural Radio Network. Seven ball game as we get the second quarter started. East football, they've got it at their own 43-yard line. Riker in motion. Jake and Neal, the Alma quarterback, pulls up and throws it at the last minute. And the ball falls well short of his intended receiver that time, Lexington's Sergio Lawarca.
Jake and Neal, 5'9", 145 pounds, and did everything he could to try and find an open receiver on that play as he, at the last minute, pulled it out and tried to find an open receiver.
2 touchdowns on the board so far in that first quarter. Gothenburg's Trey Stevens with a 17-yard touchdown pass to Jesse Mock of North Platte gave the East a 7-0 lead. Late first quarter, Shadron's Brock Berry hits Ogallala's Jaden Curtis from 26 yards out. PAT tied things up. Neal's pass comes over the middle. On target on the catch is Cooper Kane from Gothenburg. That'll move the chains into West territory inside the 45-yard line. 7 to midfield, another 8 pickup of 15 for the East team.
And just as I say that about Jake and Neal, he fires a bullet to Kane that time.
Did a nice job waiting for Kane to kind of clear across the middle and put it right between the numbers for that first down reception. Trips out to the left, that's the short side. They'll bring Riker in motion left to right. Quick toss to Brett Fraker, trying to turn the corner. And the cornerback far side, first to arrive defensively, I think that was Jaden Curtis there from Ogallala, the touchdown scorer for the West on that last possession. First to arrive, clipped him down after a gain of 5 for McCook's Brett Fraker. Along the defensive tackle unit for the West, you'll see Chase County's Jarrett Peterson Dundee County Stratton's Derek Knopfsinger, McGuire Rolls from Sidney, and Jeremiah Coley from Mitchell. A little over a minute gone by here in the second quarter. Game tied at 7, 2 receivers left. Ball right hash, single receiver to the short side. Neal gets it into the hands of Kane. Good job defensively from Caden Thompson, 5'7", 167, a Hershey coming up to make the tackle. Gain of just a couple for Cooper Kane. Pretty nice size difference there, so a nice job by Thompson to wrap him up and keep that gain pretty minimal. Alma's Jacob Neal checks the defense. He'll bring Riker in motion. They'll hand it off. Quincy Riker, and he's wrapped up. On the tackle that time was Jackson Harriger. Jackson Harriger these last few years.
Yep, doing a lot on the defensive side for Gehring. Of course, on the offensive side, a wide receiver, but a nice job on the tackle there. And Riker that time, a good job following his blocker, Fraker, but a nice job by the West defense to limit that gain and bring up 4th down.
4th and 3, ball right hash mark. East with the offense on the field. Ball on the 35 of the West. Straight drop, and that's going to be a sack. In the backfield, coming up with that quarterback sack for the West team.
I think it was Jared Peterson got in there first to kind of blow things up.
And then Tyler O'Neill might have cleaned it up from Chase County, 6'2", 175. And that is the second 4-down stop for the West defense. They get the QB sack of Jake and Neal. They get the offense, the football back, and they'll have it 1st and 10 now at their own 37-yard line. Tied at 7. East got on the board first with a Stevens to Mock touchdown pass, and now we'll get a timeout taken by Nick Cookshausen and the West team. We'll keep it right here. 46th annual West Nebraska All-Star football game here in Scottsbluff at Bearcat Stadium, the home of the Scottsbluff Bearcats. We'll have volleyball starting at 3 o'clock this afternoon at Western Nebraska Community College's Cougar Palace. Great venue for All-Star volleyball. We'll have that one on 107.3 The Trail as well, and KHYYFM.com. It looks like Coach Cookshausen will switch up his offensive personnel a little bit during this timeout.
I don't know if the 2 wide receivers who were lined up on the right side of the formation weren't quite where they needed to be or weren't in the right formation, but quick timeout called there to get everybody on the same page.
Your offensive line groupings for the West will be Austin Hodges of Ogallala, Michael Skinner of Ogallala, Mitchell's Jeremiah Coley, and Jonathan Cruz from Layton. Also McGuire Rolls of Sidney, Minutair's Jackson Schwartz, Tyler O'Neill of Chase County, and Hemingford's Theron Miller. 2 receivers right, fake the handoff, Barry on the drop, fires, and he's got a wide open receiver running near side free at around midfield. On the catch, Trenton Rushman from Layton, 5'10", 155. Zach Sundquist of Holdridge in the neighborhood defensively on the stop, but that is a big gainer for the West team. Line of scrimmage was the 37. That'll be a pickup of 20 for the West on the Barry to Rushman completion. And the West quickly here into East territory. Football at the East 43 along the right hash. Single receiver out to the left is Mitch Morvac from Gehring. They'll snap it to the running back, Lou Holly. Nice job for a moment, kept his feet. First to arrive defensively that time. First contact was made by Tyree Smith of Cozad, and that'll wind up a gain of 4. Football resting at the East 39-yard line. Luke Holly from Sidney picks up 4. Sydney made that run to the state semifinals. I think they got beat by Wahoo.
Wahoo.
2nd and 6 here for the West. Again, the snap to Holly. He'll hand it back off. Coming back across the formation to Peyton Abbott from Bridgeport. Tackle made by Austin Robley of Medicine Valley for the East team. It is a first down for Peyton Abbott. And they'll move the football after a gain of 7 for Abbott. It'll be at the 32-yard line. 10 minutes and 48 seconds to play here in the first half. Tied at 7. Little tight bunch formation out to the right. Snap comes to Barry. He slips in the backfield. Tackle will be credited to Drew Knitzer, 6'3", 275 from Highline.
Just not a lot there that time for Brock Berry to find any running room. A nice job by the East defense to get penetration.
Loss of 1 sets up 2nd down and 11 now for the West. Game clock running at 10 minutes and 15 seconds to go here in this second quarter. Holly to the right of Barry. He'll smack his hands once. Now the snap to Luke Holly. Holly sticks that left foot in the ground. Quick cutback run. He'll take it right to the 30 for a gain of 3. Tacklers on that play was Max Denson from Broken Bow, 6'1", 205. We've seen some Broken Bow kids play really well in this contest over the years.
Really the first bad snap we've seen by either side. That one a little bit high and outside for Holly to corral.
Holly will set up shop to the left of Barry. Now motion back behind the quarterback. Play action. Barry. Pass is in and out of the hands of the intended target that time. Riley Anderson of Hyannis. Throw a little high. Of course, both those kids were at Scottsbluff High School last Friday, playing in the West Nebraska or the Panhandle Prep basketball contest for the All-Star Hoopers last weekend.
You also see some of the girls that played in that Panhandle Prep game on the volleyball court here in a few hours.
7-7, 9:22 to play in the first half. 2 receivers to the left, Timbers and Jaden Curtis. Curtis scored the lone West touchdown late in the first quarter. Rushman from Layton, the lone receiver to the left. They'll run that same action that scored him the touchdown the first time. They wanted Curtis again on that out and up route that time. Ball sails incomplete on 4th down, and that'll be a turnover on downs and give the East the football back with 9:18 to play in the first half. Tied at 7, 46th annual West Nebraska All-Star football game. East got on the board with 7:21 to play in the first quarter as Gothenburg's Trey Stevens hit North Platte's Jesse Mock on a 17-yard scoring strike. Eli Coble from Broken Bow, the PAT, to make it 7-0. West responded with under a minute to play, 38 seconds in that first quarter. Shadron's Brock Berry to Curtis from Ogallala. It covered 26 yards, and then Curtis the PAT, and we are tied at 7 with 9:18 to play here in the second quarter. Volleyball will have first serve at 3 o'clock at WNCC's Cougar Palace. Had the banquet last night. Great to see all the families in town for both these rosters today. Volleyball rosters as well. Parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, girlfriends, boyfriends. Great turnout last night at the Weborg 21 Center in Gehring. I want to thank Lisa for letting us host the event in her building last night. Little pump fake. Now they'll throw it back to the right side. On the catch and run out across the 40-yard line for a first down. That's Holdridge's Zach Sundquist, 5'11", 170. That'll be a pickup of 12 as Stevens connects with Sundquist. Chase Gracie, the safety from Mullen, 6'4", 190, credited with the tackle. Gracie, Harriger, Rushman, we've mentioned those names. Ace Hobbs of Mitchell, your safety grouping for the West team today. In the shotgun, Stevens will hand it off. Running near side with the football is Cruz Safranek from Broken Bow. He'll be banged out of bounds. That'll be a gain of about 6 for Safranek. Gracie in on the stop once again. That'll set up second down. Call it 5, actually a pickup of 5. So 2nd and 5 now, ball at the East 47-yard line. They got the 4-down stop defensively and approaching midfield here with 9:05 to play in the first half. Stevens in the shotgun. Safranek rolling right. Stevens. Pressure coming. Stevens gets rid of it, throws it away out of bounds. Applying the pressure that time defensively was Theron Miller of Hemingford. That'll make it 3rd down and 5 now for the east side.
West defense getting some good penetration on that previous running play. Jared Peterson from his defensive tackle position coming all the way across the field to get to the ball carrier and be the first man to contact him.
8:58 to play, first half action. 15-minute quarter, so still over half this second quarter to be played. We're tied at 7. Ball left hash at the 47-yard line. Straight drop for Stevens from Gothenburg. He'll loft one out. Far side, nice grab. They'll give him the catch. Alec Malzahn from Alma makes the grab across midfield at the 45-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 8. A lot of air under that one. Good job by Malzahn to eyeball it and at the same time get 1 foot in on the 8-yard completion. Covered a lot more ground than that. Goes for 8 yards. Good catch by Malzahn.
That pass hung up there for quite a while from Stevens. Malzahn able to corral that. No one around him that time.
1st and 10 for the East. West Territory. Ball at the 45-yard line on the right hash. Safranek in motion from left to right. Now he'll orbit motion back into the backfield. They'll pump fake it. Stevens, a lot going on with that look. Stevens keeps it, and he'll pick up 10 to the 35-yard line. That'll be a first down run for Trey Stevens of Gothenburg. Boy, a lot of pre-snap to deal with there if you're the West defense.
A lot going on with that play, but both these quarterbacks, both Neal and Stevens on the East, doing a good job throwing the ball and also able to pull it down and run when they need to.
Yeah, we've seen all the quarterbacks utilized by both squads so far, showing plenty of dual threat capability in this one. They'll mark it just shy, so a 9-yard gain. It'll be second and really inches here for the East team. Safranek in motion. They fake the handoff to Safranek. They'll kind of hand it off on that cross-buck motion. It goes to McCook's Fraker. That'll be a first down carry. Pickup of 3 for Brett Fraker from McCook. Fraker goes 6 feet, 180 pounds. Visited with him for a few minutes at Media Day on Wednesday. Said just glad to be out here representing McCook High School in an all-star game. A lot of pride with the sport of football, of course, in McCook over the years. So much winning tradition for the McCook Bison. 2 receivers left, single receiver to the right. Fraker, the lone back. Stevens going to call a timeout. Comes with 7 minutes, 48 seconds to play in the second quarter. We'll step away. Game tied at 7, East and West here. 46th annual West Nebraska All-Star football game. We're back after this 1-minute timeout in the Rural Radio Network. Out of the timeout, East football on the inside give. And Fraker picks up a couple right to the 30-yard line.
He's content just to keep it on the ground, give it to Fraker as much as they can, but just when West defense gets comfortable with the running game, Stevens can throw the ball where he needs to.
They'll fake the handoff. Stevens will loft one, coming back against the formation. Fraker on the catch. He'll be tackled inside the 20 at around the 18-yard line. Brody Rogers from Dundee County Stratton makes the tackle, but Fraker on the catch will have an East first down. They'll spot the football at the 18 for a gain of 12. First and 10 for the East. Spread formation. Trips out to the right. Single receiver here to the near side. Fraker the lone back to the left of Gothenburg. Stevens the quarterback. Quick toss in and out of the hands of Cruz Safranek. Ball loose. No signal yet. No signal yet.
Officials are going to have to talk about this one.
It looked like a forward pass from our vantage
point. It did.
Point.
It just went over his head.
I think we do get the incomplete pass signal.
He's dodging a bullet right there. Yeah, that could have been disastrous if the Westwood were able to jump on that one with 6:41 left in the first half.
We've seen turnovers on downs, but no traditional turnovers yet in this contest. We're at 6:41 to play here in the second quarter, tied at 7. East on the move inside the red zone. Ball on the left hash. Stevens from Gothenburg, straight drop, under pressure, and pass is incomplete. He wanted Jesse Mock applying the pressure that time. I believe Theron Miller once again. And it had an effect on the delivery from Stevens. Got to imagine if he's able to plant his feet and get that ball out in rhythm, it's on target for a first down.
Definitely, because he was wide open and just a little bit too high for the intended receiver that time to pull down.
That'll bring up third down and 10, 6:36 to play. Ball at the 18-yard line of the West. East approaches the line of scrimmage. Stevens in at quarterback on this drive. Fraker from McCook, the back to his left. Trips right, single receiver to the short side. They'll pump fake, and that's going to be an incompletion, nearly intercepted.
A little bit of confusion that time. The pump fake, I think, confused the East receivers that time on who that was going to.
Safranek, it looked like, was the intended target, and no surprise, you get some, wires crossed, miscommunication, not on the same page with just a few days of prep, especially in the passing game. So a field goal attempt here for Coble. Line of scrimmage is the 18. Holding is Stevens. He'll put it down at the 26. That ball is going to drift up and get through. So a 36-yard field goal for Eli Coble. And that makes it 10-7 with the East team going in front. So Coble 2 for 2 on his kicks, a PAT, and now the 36-yard field goal. And the East leads it by the score of 10-7 with 6:26 to play here in the first half. Volleyball coverage later today, 107.3 The Trail from Cougar Palace. First serve on the WNCC campus will be at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Lovely afternoon for football. Still just shy of the afternoon, in fact, out here in the Mountain Time Zone. Coming up on noon. Coble has it teed up. 2 for 2 on his kicks. And he will kick it off here to the west. East in front, 10-7, with 6:26 to play in the second quarter. Coble knocks this one down inside the 10. Curtis from Ogallala, the return man. Dropped it momentarily, picks it up, hurdles a would-be tackler, takes it out to right around the 30-yard line. And the West will have it first and 10. Ball between the hash marks. Nose of the football right at their own 30. 6:18 to play here in the first half. They'll come to the line of scrimmage. Mitch Morvac of Gearing, the widest receiver, although pretty tightly packed formation. Brock Berry, the quarterback. The handoff goes to Sydney's Luke Hawley. Tries to turn the corner. Couple of defenders there for the East team. Sundquist of Holdridge. First to arrive, a 1-yard gain for Luke Hawley from Sydney. Second down and 9. Ball just inside the right hash. Houchin off to the right, behind the line of scrimmage. Morvac, the receiver. Snap to Luke Hawley. Nothing doing. Xavier Albertson will get credit for the tackle. First to arrive to force him back inside was Broken Bow's Max Denson. So that'll be a loss on the play. Take it back to the original line of scrimmage, and it'll be third down and 10 for the West team. Jeff, it looks like the East starting to make a little headway here against the looks they're seeing from the West offense.
I was just going to say that they're getting some good penetration, and it kind of looks like when Brock Berry in the one formation claps his hand, the snap usually goes to Luke Hawley, but this time they'll go empty in the backfield.
Strong side to the left. They tried to throw it back to Morvac here on the near sideline. Pass incomplete. Denson from Broken Bow read that beautifully. Also there defensively from Ainsworth McNally. And a pretty empty possession that time for the West offense. Not a lot going. And they will have to punt the football away here with 4:55 to play in the first half. East leading at 10-7. They'll get the ball back. Back to receive the punt is Quincy Riker from Twin Loop. And punting the football is Cooper Dillon from Chase County. Short punt, and it'll be downed at the 50. Bounce backwards to midfield, so great starting field position coming up for the East offense. We'll see if they go back to Jake and Neal from Alma. It looks like they will. So they've kind of rotated drives. It's been Brock Berry for the West the entire way so far.
East defense at times, some good penetration, almost got to that punt. But it gives the East great field position in midfield.
Both scoring drives for the East have been led by Stevens from Gothenburg. Riker takes the handoff, got the corner turned along the far sideline and carries it for 9 yards down to the West 41. Pickup of 9 for Quincy Riker. 5'9", 175 from Twin Loop. Jake and Neal, 5'9", 145, the Alma quarterback. That signal caller this possession. Riker and Kane. Kane from Gothenburg comes out to the left. That's the wide side. Single receiver to the right. They'll bring Riker in motion. The handoff goes to Fraker. Great defensive penetration that time. See if we can get the number. That was Gage Wild from Shadron knifing in and stopping Fraker for a loss on the play. It'll bring up third down and 2, loss of 1. Nice defensive work that time from Shadron's Gage Wild. one of the 5 linebackers rotating through for the West team, along with Grady Robbins of Gearing, Dillon from Chase County, O'Neill from Chase County, and Rogers from Dundee County. Stratton, Fraker, excellent work defensively here on the near side. Making the stop was Caden Thompson from Hershey. We do have a flag down between the hash marks.
Like this may be the first penalty on the East tonight, holding the call.
First penalty here today, as Jeff just mentioned, on the East team. I believe just our 3rd overall. Excellent tackle. One-on-one solo effort for Hershey's Caden Thompson. Would have kept him shy of the first down had the play stood. But with the penalty, that'll move it back 10 and set up 3rd down and 11. So, key flag there. Now a true passing situation here for the East. Stacked 3 receivers set to the right. Jake and Neal, straight drop. He'll fire it. And nice tackle once again by Caden Thompson from Hershey as they get the completion to Cooper Kane across midfield to the 47-yard line. That'll be a gain of about 5 and brings up 4th down, and the East will send the punting unit on. We've got 3 minutes and 12 seconds to play right now here in this first half.
This is the first punt we've seen, or second punt we've seen West just punted, so I think it'd be the first punt from the East.
And we got a big boy back here to punt it away. That looks like Drew Knitzer. He'll go left-footed, bangs this one up in the air, angles the kick down inside the 10. Excellent kick from Knitzer. On the return that time is Ace Hobbs from Mitchell. And he's tackled it around the 13, maybe, yeah, they'll spot the football, it looks like, at the 13-yard line. Pretty nice punt by Big Drew Knitzer. 6'3", 275 from Highline, booting that ball. Angled the kick inside the 10.
He was getting a little pressure on his punt that time, but able to get off kind of a sidewinder with the left foot that time.
1st and 10 for the West offense. Brock Berry continues to man the ship here at quarterback for the West. They'll snap it. This time the carry goes to Cooper Dillon of Chase County, trying to run wide far side. Not a lot going on. In on the tackle defensively was Landon O'Brien from North Platte. That'll be a short gain of 2 and sets up 2nd down and 8 on the Cooper Dillon carry for the West team. Colby Houchin comes in. Also in along the offensive line is going to be Theron Miller from Hemingford. 2nd down and 8 for the West. They've got it at their own 20-yard line. Mitch Morvac, the lone receiver, out to the right. Little motion, orbit motion that time. Berry on the keeper. And Brock Berry is going to be tackled right at the line of scrimmage. Drew Neubauer, 6 feet, 200 pounds from Alma on the tackle.
That time looked like that play designated to go to the left side of the formation, but good penetration again by the East defensive front to keep that play to a short gain.
Tristan Timbers of Alliance, Jaden Curtis of Ogallala, your receivers to the right side of the formation. Rushman from Layton to the left. Pass on target to Timbers. And that'll be maybe a yard shy of the first down, a gain of 7 as Brock Berry connects with Tristan Timbers. Rivals during the year. Teammates here this week for the West Nebraska All-Star football game. 4th down. They'll call it 2 across the way along that far side. And the West will keep the offense on the field with 50 seconds to play. Heavy formation. Snap comes to Dillon. Dillon has got running room. 1st down. tackled out of bounds. Eli Coble tackles his opposite number, 22, tackling 22. Coble brings down Dillon. Line of scrimmage was the 27. Pickup of 15 on the run for Chase County's Cooper Dillon, 5'11", 180 pounds. A little bit of a gamble there, Jeff, on fourth down. I get
down.
50 seconds, but if you don't get it, we've already seen Eli Coble knock in a field goal, so gutsy call there for the West coaching staff. Trips left. Shotgun snap to Barry. He'll throw it over the middle. He's got Jaden Curtis. Couldn't hold on. Had it momentarily. Dropped it inside the East 35-yard line with 32 seconds to play. That'll make it second down and 10.
Definitely would have set the West up for a big first down. Curtis had it in his hands, just not able to get it to his body for the completion.
Knitzer along the defensive line exits. Zeb Wild from Sandhill Stedford comes on. West in a spread formation here. Two receivers to each side. Houchin at a wide halfback set to the left. Now Barry under pressure, and he's going to be sacked by Max Denson of Broken Bow. Denson has been a difference maker here today along the defensive line for the east side.
Really no place that time for Brock Barry to run. As you said, good pressure. Mac Denson also getting in there, and Zeb Wild. They've been in the West backfield quite a bit here in this first half.
So on the sack, that'll be a loss. And they will let the time run off the clock, and we have reached halftime here. It was a loss of about 9 yards on the sack as Denson brought down Barry in the backfield. 20 minutes on the halftime clock. It is a 10-7 lead right now at halftime. We'll come back across the Rural Radio Network after this 2-minute timeout. 2 minutes right now on the Rural Radio Network.
5-time Medical Award winner, Well-Life Assisted Living at Scottsbluff. We have multiple apartment sizes to fit your needs, as well as our top-of-the-line care team from trained and experienced team members. From daily activities to our 5-star dining experience, Well-Life at Scottsbluff is the premier assisted living community in Scottsbluff. To learn more about our care and rent specials, give us a call at 308-632-1760 or visit us online at WLScottsbluff.com.
Yeah.
Hawks is coming up. We can burn some time now. Chris Cottrell, Jeff Kelly with you. It is halftime here at Scottsbluff High School's Bearcat Stadium. 46th annual West Nebraska All-Star football game. A 10-7 score here at the break. We can give you a little scoring recap here a little bit later on. Plenty of time to burn here at the halftime break as we've got is that John Clanton in the house
Where?
down there? I see John Clanton.
It is.
Great to see John back in the region. Let's get the mic in the hands of Scottsbluff High Activities Director Dave Hawksworth, longtime committee member, puts in so much work. Dave, couldn't dial up a better day of weather. Let's start. I think we were right at 70 degrees for kickoff. Sunny skies, beautiful out here for an 11 a.m. start.
You know, a couple years ago we had a storm coming through that night, and we ended up moving it during the day. And, you know, it was kind of a suggestion of Coach Gross, and we talked about it a little bit and said, you know, let's give it a try. And, you know, after having our second year of it, I really like it. I think the players don't have to sit around and wait all day to play a 7 o'clock game, and most of the time it takes the weather out of the picture for us. You know, we might be getting rain right now some days, but usually lightning and the whole safety issue and delaying the game and all that is in the evening. So I really like it. The fans have come out. We've seen that, you know, it doesn't matter what time it is. So right now I don't see us changing back.
10-7 our score at halftime. We had a great banquet last night over at the Weborg Center. All the families from both teams, East-West volleyball, football in attendance. Always a great night. And, boy, a lot of passion in the building last night. 46 years for this game. Hard to see anything in today's day and age of the world lasting 46 years. So it's really a feather in the cap to everybody that's been involved with this thing from the start of it in 1978 to right now.
Yeah, and there's, you know, obviously there's been some changes that have come and gone on the committee of a few people here and there. You know, Coach Hartman was in the Valley and was really passionate about it, and Jeff Gross still staying involved on the east side. And there's just so many people, Jeff Kelly sitting here in the press box, that have put in, you know, time and years of serving it and making sure that it keeps going. And we're always tweaking things to make it better. And we've kind of talked about some things that we can continue to do, because, you know, we're seeing that it's different now. Kids are maybe not choosing to play in the game for different reasons, and we need to figure that out, because I think like you said, being in the building last night and listening to, you know, the kids that are here, and Shanna always says that, is that, you know, the event that we put on for the kids that come is fantastic. And so we'll evaluate and always think of ideas and things that we can do to make the game better, but it's really, you know, the one mainstay that everybody knows is Shanna Halstead. So she is so passionate about it, and she is the person behind the scenes that no one knows, but she doesn't always get the shout-outs, but she makes this game go, and the volleyball game, and she kind of spearheads all of us. So it's really nice to have her in our corner, and she deserves a lot of recognition.
Yeah, you and I both touched on it last night. Just a big thank you to the kids that did say yes. I know for the West, this in Shrine Bowl going on today as well. Sebastian Boyle of Scottsbluff could have been here. You had Cale Peters from Mitchell and Isaac Doty from Sydney. They're playing in the Shrine Bowl, so some major talent not available for the West here today. But for all the kids that did say yes, we just gave them a big thank you last night, because once you finish high school and you graduate, a lot of these kids might be going on to play a different sport at the next level. And then if not, you're done with high school sports, so do you want to get back out and practice again? There's a lot of things pulling at these kids from different directions. So another thank you to everybody that decided to participate this week.
Yeah, and I think we did a good job of kind of reiterating that to the kids, you know, for coming up. And we did shorten it by a day. And I think, and then, you know, that's one of the tweaks that we've made, you know, so they don't have a 4 or 5 day commitment. They have a 3-day commitment. And, you know, these kids are good athletes. That's why they were the best athletes for their schools. And so, you know, they're in pretty good shape. Obviously, the football shape's a little different. And but we did shorten it. We've done some things differently. It's not as long a commitment, and I think that does help a little bit. But we just got to keep thinking about how we can continue to make the game great. And but today's a great day, great weather, and a lot of people showed up to support it, and we're so appreciative of that.
And we've got great venues for the two contests out here. Of course, Bearcat Stadium and Cougar Palace for volleyball. You can't ask for a better spot for volleyball later today.
No, yeah, and there's, you know, during COVID that one year we played it at the high school, and, you know, personally, my preference, I liked it at Scottsbluff High School. A little smaller venue, kind of felt like the building was full. I think sometimes at the college, you know, it's just it's a beautiful facility, and we love being out there, but, you know, kind of having that game-like environment too was kind of fun. I enjoyed being at Scottsbluff High School that year too. So, Yeah, no, we Bearcat Stadium is a special place, and we like hosting a lot of great games here, and so I think people like to be here.
Whether it's yourself or any other activities director around the state of Nebraska, you get finished with these all-star events. Do you try to find a little bit of downtime, family time, to enjoy something, Dave, at some point this summer? Because mid to late August is going to be here in a hurry, man.
I know. I was joking earlier. I was like, we're going to be going here pretty soon. And it was funny. My wife said to me this morning, she said June 1st, and I said it'll be August 1st before you know it. And so I have for me and all the activities directors, we're still trying to put last year to bed a little bit, and we got a few things we're finishing, and always looking to next year. And I have. My fall schedules are pretty done, officials are done, and the winter is pretty much done. And honestly, I'll tell you, I haven't even touched spring yet. So I need to get in time and get in the office and spend some time on next spring and work through those things. And then we got our weight room starts on Monday, so we'll have kids in the building at 6:15 all the way till about 11:30, lifting in groups, and then camps and summer camps and all that get going. And so, but yes, as an answer to your question, at some point there's going to be a little bit of detach from Scottsbluff High School to get away from it for just a little bit.
Do not, whenever that time comes, man, do not open the laptop.
That's so hard, because it's like, everything else, it's going to be there.
Yeah.
So it's more the phones, because you're so tied to it all the time. So
even on vacation, I find myself always at least wanting to check email so I can get rid of a bunch of stuff I don't need. I'd rather walk into fewer emails coming off vacation than the whole thing.
I joked with our IT guys the other day. I said, can I just change my email so no one knows what it is? So yeah, no, it's definitely, but it's we do it for the reason. We do it for the kids and providing a great opportunity, because participating in sport and activities means a lot to a lot of kids. It keeps them in school and focused and coming to school and engaged with teachers and coaches and with good people and making great relationships and playing games like this. That's why we do it.
We just had Boys State Golf for Class B out here a few weeks ago, and whether it's these All-Star games or NSAA state championships, really to me, no state does high school sports like Nebraska. There's no place with this amount of passion for high school sports than our state.
I agree. I mean, the venues that we have back east to be able to hold some of those bigger events, and even state cross country and Kearney, they always do an amazing job with that. And we're blessed now that we have an opportunity to show off Western Nebraska with both girls and boys state golf. That kind of, we have a passionate committee that loves Western Nebraska, and that's one thing that we have out here is great golf courses. And so to get ourselves in the mix, and I think the NSAA likes having it out here too, because it's kind of bridging east and west a little bit. And what we found is the athletes that come out here to play in state golf, they love it, because a lot of those kids only drove 45 minutes to a different golf course all year long in their home. They get to come out and spend a couple of days with their friends and overnight and eat different restaurants, and so it's been very positive. We've had nothing but great comments about hosting state golf out here. So yeah, we love it, and the passion of Nebraska, from football to everything now. Look at baseball with Nebraska playing now, and it's just Nebraska loves its sports.
How about the explosion of girls wrestling?
Oh, and that's the thing, like just in the last 3 years at Scottsbluff, we've gone from 2 or 3 kids talking about it. I think we had probably 20 or 21 middle school girls this year. Our high school numbers are still in the 10 range, but pretty soon that's going to be a girls-boys basketball thing. We're going to have the same numbers in both, and it's going to take a couple years to catch up. But I'm seeing already there's other schools that their numbers have already exploded. I mean, North Platte and some others, they've already got the numbers of 30s or 40s of girls that are out for wrestling.
Back to state golf real quick. I couldn't believe it. I was laughing with Bill, and we were talking at the station. The weather's not great elsewhere when Western Nebraska had the best weather for boys state golf a couple weeks ago.
That was so nice. I felt bad for Cale Peters, because he goes down to Columbus, and they get 7 inches of rain, and we were anticipating having some issues the first day, and man, we ended up with a nice day, but we were worried about frost. We thought we were going to have a frost delay. We've had a few frost delays with the girls in the fall, getting into October, but who's think you're going to have a frost delay at the end of May? So, but yeah, no, we had great weather, and you know, the East got there. Most of theirs got them in except for C's. So, you know, that's the one thing NSAA doesn't do with those tournaments is they don't move them, because when they tie up those golf courses like that, the golf courses don't want to give up a different day or another day or whatever. They're pretty locked into them, and I would have felt horrible if they'd have lost both days. I don't know what their contingency plan on that is.
Yeah. Tireless worker, Dave Hawksworth, just like every AD across the great state of Nebraska. Hard worker in his daytime job, and, of course, all the effort and time that goes in to West Nebraska All-Star Week. 46 years here today for football. It'll be the 40th annual volleyball match coming up later today at Cougar Palace. Dave, thanks for stopping up for just a little bit. Appreciate the conversation. We'll see you at the college a little later.
I appreciate you guys, and I tell you what, I can't say thanks enough to our local media, and like you said, John back here, and Mark Ryan here, and Tim is here and covering our stuff, and the miles you guys put on to get sports out in the Panhandle, and for our parents and our families. We just appreciate you guys a lot. So thank you.
Appreciate your support, Dave. Enjoy the rest of the football game. We'll come back. Halftime score, it is 10-7, East leading the West. Right now, we got about 6.5 minutes to go. When we come back, we can run down the scoring recap, give you a few individual statistics as well. We're back after a 2-minute break across the Rural Radio Network. Chris Cottrell alongside Jeff Kelly. Glad to have you listening across the Rural Radio Network here on a Saturday afternoon for the 46th annual West Nebraska All-Star Football Game. At the break, the East in front 10-7, looking for their 5th straight win in this series. The scoring got started with 7:21 to play in the first quarter as Gothenburg quarterback able to make a connection. That was Trey Stevens hitting Jesse Mock from North Platte on a 17-yard scoring strike. Eli Coble with the PAT from Broken Bow made it 7-0. West able to answer back with under a minute to play in the first quarter. 38 seconds to go. A touchdown pass from Shadron's Brock Berry to Jaden Curtis of Ogallala. It covered 26 yards. Curtis added the PAT to tie the game at 7 apiece. And then Coble, who had the PAT earlier for the East, with the only points of the second quarter as he blasted a 36-yard field goal. That came with 6:26 to play, and that's where we're at right now, 10-7. Jeff, I know it's tricky here with these all-star games. What do you have in terms of individual numbers?
Very unofficially, I've got Brock Berry through the air, 3 out of 10 for 64 yards and 1 touchdown. On the ground, Brock Berry, 9 carries, 24 yards. Luke Holly, 9 carries, 26 yards. Haushen, 3 carries for 14. Peyton Abbott, 3 carries for 10 yards. And Dillon with 2 carries for 17 yards. The Tristan Timbers, he's got 2 catches for 12 yards. Curtis with 1 catch for 26, and Rushman with 1 catch for 20. For the East, Stevens, 3 out of 9, 37 yards and a touchdown. Jake and Neal, he's 2 out of 3 for 20 yards. On the ground, Brett Fraker from McCook, 10 carries, 32 yards. Riker, 3 carries for 18 yards. Safranik, 3 carries for 21. Stevens on the ground, he's got 3 carries for 23 yards, and Keene with 2 carries for 7 yards. On the rushing side, on the offensive side, Keene with 1 catch for 15, and Malzahn with 1 catch for 8 for the East side.
10-7 our halftime score. East with the 3-point lead over the West. We'll come back with second half action. We'll get to the third quarter after this 1-minute timeout on the Rural Radio Network. Husker baseball play at noon.
They're down 3-0 the bottom of the first against Niagara.
Chris Cottrell alongside Jeff Kelly. 10-7 East leading the West. West will receive the football to begin this third quarter. It was 70 degrees at kickoff, now 76 degrees here in Scottsbluff. A lovely Saturday afternoon. We'll be indoors, of course, for volleyball, 40th annual West Nebraska volleyball match at 3 o'clock at Cougar Palace on the WNCC campus, also here in Scottsbluff. 15-minute quarters. That's what we've got on the clock as Eli Coble puts toe to football and blasts this one away into the end zone. We are underway here in the third quarter. A touchback in the West. We'll have it 1st and 10. Coble has been a difference maker here.
He's definitely got the leg. He kicks that one through the back of the end zone. Of course, little bit different ruling in this all-star game. If he'd have fielded that in the end zone, he could have brought it out. But it went through the back of the end zone, and it'll be placed down at the 30-yard line.
The East switch quarterbacks every drive. For the West, it's been Brock Berry from the start till now, and he'll get the assignment here once again to begin the third quarter. They'll snap it, though, to Luke Hawley, and he'll hand it off to Bridgeport's Peyton Abbott. And Abbott with a strong run across the 35 out to around the 37-yard line, maybe 38. That's a gain of 8 for Peyton Abbott from Bridgeport. They had a high-powered attack last year, did the Bridgeport Bulldogs.
West had some success with that play where the ball is direct snap to Holly, and then he hands it off on the inside to Peyton Abbott.
Barry, and again, snap comes to Holly. He'll keep it himself this time. Holly's got the first down. Host of defenders there. In on the tackle was Aiden Meyer from McCook. I believe the first time we've called his name today. One of those outside linebackers rotating through, along with Austin Robley of Medicine Valley and Zach Sundquist from Holdridge. First down run for Holly. It'll be 1st and 10 now with the ball at the 43-yard line of the West. Between the hash marks and the snap comes to Holly. He fakes the handoff. North Platte Xavier Albertson there with a big stick right at the line of scrimmage, stopping Holly for no gain.
They bring in Houchen for the West. We'll see if he figures into this offensive play for the West.
Left hash mark, 13:27 to play in the third quarter. East in front, 10-7. Barry claps his hands. He'll hand it off to Houchen. There he is, the Baird High product. And tackled by Aiden Meyer up high. Down low on the stick was Tragan McNally from Ainsworth. And Baird's Colby Houchen takes it across the 45 to the 46-yard line. That'll be a gain of 4. Just shy of the 47, and brings up third down and 6. Cooper Dillon checks into this backfield. He had a really nice run late in that first half. Maybe the West wants to get him more involved here with the ball in his hands.
Big run of 15 yards, maybe a little bit of a change up on the West side as they've been almost exclusively on the ground here to start this second half.
Brock Berry claps his hands. The ball snapped to Dillon. A halfback pass. Xavier Albertson, the linebacker from North Platte, having himself a day defensively. Able to read it. Kind of stopped his momentum in terms of flying upfield to get to the ball carrier. Put the brakes on. Got a hand on that ball. Knocked it away. Great play by Xavier Albertson from North Platte.
You wonder if the West didn't need to switch a little bit, something up there. They tried to do it that time with the Dillon throwing the ball.
So 4th down and 6. Barry, the quarterback, will drop back into punt formation and boot it away. End over end, low line drive kick, bounces it around the 25. Picked up by Quincy Riker. And Riker brings it back across the 20 to around the 23-yard line. And Twin Loops Quincy Riker will get the East offense set up with it. 1st and 10 now at the, looks like they'll spot it at the 24-yard line. 12:22 to play in the third quarter. 10-7 the lead for the East All-Stars. John Clanton roaming the sideline at Bearcat Stadium. All is right with the world. Two receivers set here for the East to the wide side, the left. Ball right hash mark, one receiver that direction. Safranek goes in motion. They'll hand off to Brett Fraker of McCook. Reverses field, nice carry, brings it out to the 30, lowers his shoulder. And I'll tell you, Caden Thompson, Jeff, of Hershey, 5'7", 165. He's done a really nice job on the edge making some tackles here today.
He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and take on the bigger Brett Fraker.
Gain of 12 out to the 35-yard line as they did move the ball back to the 23 for that opening snap of this drive. 12-yard carry for Fraker. Might have been his best of the day. Two receivers to the short side. They'll motion Safranek into the backfield. They'll fake the inside give. They'll toss it out to Safranek. And a big stick that time from Brody Rogers of Dundee County Stratton in the backfield. That'll be a loss of 5 and set up 2nd down and 15.
That play just sniffed out great that time by Brody Rogers. And
pick of the game defensively for this West defense, being led by Scottsbluff defensive coordinator Trey Allison here today. Safranek on the jet sweep. Good job by Rogers to force the play back inside where Gage Wild makes the tackle on Cruz Safranek. We've got a flag down in the backfield. Looks like it could be another offensive holding call. This would be the second holding. Second penalty of the game, is that correct, Jeff?
Yep, for the East. Heard some of the referees in the stands making that call before the officials did.
Even an all-star game, they can't help themselves in the stands, no doubt.
But really, you'd have to say the first half of this game was pretty cleanly played. I mean, it moved along very briskly. Good job by both teams on the offensive and defensive sides, and only a couple of penalties, and this, like we said, this will be the second one on the East here this morning. Is it this afternoon? This afternoon.
Well behind the change. You had the 5-yard stop by Rogers. Now the penalty, and you're looking at second down and 24 now for the East offense, being led by Gothenburg quarterback Trey Stevens. Straight drop, fires across the middle, and arriving right on time defensively was Ace Hobbs from Mitchell. Good collision with the receiver right as the ball arrived. Incomplete pass, and that'll bring up third down and long here. 3rd and 24 for the East offense.
Couple of good sticks by the West offense. They play 2 previous to this one, and nice play there, knocking that pass away.
Low scoring game here, still early in the 3rd quarter. 10:52 to play, a 10-7 lead for the East. Backed up now with a 3rd and 24 at their own 21-yard line. They'll fake the handoff on the jet sweep look. And now dumping it, trying to get that to Fraker in traffic. And the ball drops incomplete. One of the defenders kind of pulled himself up to make sure he avoided a collision, as that ball took a while to get to the intended receiver. And nothing doing for the East offense, less than nothing, in fact.
But that was a really smart play by Gage Wiles, who you're referring to. He just kind of threw his hands up. He's right there with Fraker, but smart play by him, as he could see the ball wasn't going to be able to be caught.
10-7. East will give it back. Knitzer, the big boy, the lefty boot. Maybe a little bit of miscommunication and a near disaster there for the East, as Chase Gracie got blown up by one of the gunners on the punt team for the East, and when he hit the turf, the ball, which was just kind of rolling around between the 30 and 35, nearly clipped him, but it didn't, and the West will have it 1st and 10. And they'll be at their own 32-yard line. Gracie from Mullen.
And he is the back of the, I shouldn't say the backup, but he is listed as a quarterback for the West, but we haven't seen him at the controls up to this point.
It's been all Brock Berry, 6'3", 180 from Chadron at the QB spot today. Berry takes the snap. The handoff goes to Bridgeport's Peyton Abbott. Abbott dropped by Knitzer. Denson was there also. And now Denson and Knitzer woofing a little bit at Peyton Abbott. A loss of a yard. Denson's been excellent today. Wild's been outstanding, I believe, along that defensive front. And Xavier Albertson, also a defensive standout for the East team. Those three really kind of have stepped to the forefront here defensively for the East. 2nd down and long. Berry looks left, fires it over the middle. He's got Tristan Timbers of Alliance, Eli Coble, Broken Bow on the tackle right near midfield. Looks like they will spot the football at the 50, a gain of 20. I believe the 3rd catch of the day, but we do have a flag down.
That one wiped out, but that would be the 3rd hookup between Berry and Timbers, but this one will not be complete as a flag on the play.
In the offensive backfield, down around the 29-yard line. Holding is the call, so for the West, now the 3rd penalty for 35 yards. 5 total flags have been accepted here today. It's been all defense so far, Jeff, in this 3rd quarter.
On both sides, they've each done an excellent job.
Shotgun snap to Berry, pump fake, he's under pressure, trying to escape, running near side, he gets away, he's at the 25, the 30, and he'll be knocked out of bounds at around the 32, maybe 33-yard line. Sundquist of Holdridge will get credited with the tackle. They'll spot the football at the 34, a pickup of 14 yards. Check that, a pickup of 12 after that mark-off. It was 2nd and 22, so a gain of 12 for Brock Berry on the scramble. He's done a real nice job eluding some pressure today.
Nice job that time. There were about 3 East defenders in there trying to bring him down, but he's able to pick up a 12, as you said.
3rd down and 9. Barry again under pressure, and pass is incomplete. He got hit from behind as he released the football. Now, Jeff, it just struck me. For Brock Berry in the last 7 days, you've seen him play basketball at Panhandle Prep. You've seen him pitch for Shadron against Gehring and some all-star football here today. He's been busy.
Oh, we talked about him at the Panhandle Prep game. I mean, he plays football, he plays basketball, he plays golf. He, pitches for the Shadron Post 12 team, I should say, and he did a good job. Gehring was just able to kind of blow that one open late in the game as they had to bring someone in relief of Brock Berry.
Dakota Wesleyan for Brock Berry to play baseball beginning this next season. And the punt will roll inside the 30. And they will down the football at the 28-yard line. It's been all defense for both the East and the West so far here in this 3rd quarter. We've had 2 drives, wind up with punts behind the chains. Another that was almost that same scenario right there for the West. And the East will get it back, leading at 10-7 with 9:22 to play in this 3rd quarter.
And you wonder on that last East possession, or the West possession off the East punt, West could have had good field position had they maybe fielded that punt, and it just fell and was down by the East. And from there, a big penalty on the West.
Handoff to Brett Fraker. Nice stick. Gage Wild, speaking of Shadron. Linebacker makes the stop for no gain right at the line of scrimmage. And, of course, the key holding penalty.
Yeah, the holding,
wiped out the
exactly.
20-yard pass right to midfield to Tristan Timbers from Alliance. Would have given him a 1st down and a fresh set, but the penalty. And the West eventually forced to punt it away. 2nd down and 10 with 8:52 to play. Clock running here in the 3rd quarter. East in front, 10-7. 3 receivers and a stack set off to the right. Snap back to Jake and Neal of Alma. Under pressure, and he's going to go down. Theron Miller of Hemingford, and also there defensively was Jared Peterson of Chase County. Peterson's been solid today from Chase County on this side of the ball.
Hemingford head football coach is up here right at the start of halftime. He's supposed to be selecting the most valuable defensive player. He's going to have a hard choice to make, I think.
Yeah, assistant coach Taryn Wood, head coach Josh Dean down along the sideline for Hemingford, working on the offense the last few days along with Nick Cookshausen from Mitchell. 3rd down and 18. The defense reigning supreme here in the 3rd quarter on both sidelines. Trips to the right. Neal rolls that direction, fires back over the middle. He's got a man. Quincy Riker on the catch. It'll be shy of the 1st down on the catch out across the 30 to the 33-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 13. Neal to Quincy Riker. Still about 5 yards shy of the line to gain, so a punting situation once again for the East squad. Good job by the West to give up that ball underneath and then rally to the football to make the tackle.
See what the West does here, see if they can get a little bit better field position than they did the last punt by the East.
Drew Knitzer, 6'3", 275 on the boot. High kick comes down to Jackson Harriger from Gehring. Harriger started middle, comes near side. Quincy Riker knocks him out of bounds at the 41-yard line. Now they're going to mark it right back at the 40. So it'll be 1st and 10 now for the West. We have an injured player for the East. That looks like Alec Molzon.
Yeah, I think it is.
From Alma, he's down.
Of course, that's the one thing you don't want to see in these type of all-star games, these players down on the field.
Scottsbluff head athletic trainer James Buck out to take a look. We've got a break in the action. We'll step away with an injury timeout. 10-7 East, 7:03 to play in the 3rd quarter. We're back on the Rural Radio Network after this 1-minute timeout. looks like a left shoulder injury, Jeff, for Alec Malzahn from Alma. James Buck walking him off over to the east sideline, far side here at Bearcat Stadium from our broadcast setup here in the press box. So we'll hope the best for Malzahn in that injury. Looks to be in a little bit of pain as he's hunched over now, walking to that sideline. James Buck will continue to work on Alec Malzahn. 1st and 10 for the West offense. They trailed 10-7 with 7:03. They'll snap it to Sidney running back Luke Holly. Holly is going to have a positive gain out to the 45-yard line for a pickup of 5 on 1st down. Zeb Wild was there defensively, Sundquist as well. And let's see, that was number 89, Jackson Delaveau from McCook. So those three right around the ball carrier on that stop for the East defense. Coming up on 6.5 minutes to play in the third. East in front 10-7. Barry's gone the distance so far at quarterback. Claps his hands. You were on that earlier today, Jeff. Anytime he claps those hands, the snap's going to go to the running back, and that's mainly been Luke Colley, and the East defense right there rallying to the football. Zeb Wild, a monster in the state title game win for Sandhill Thedford. 1-yard gain for Holly. Knitzer will come on, replacing Neubauer along the defensive line. They've got some horses up front.
They
the
definitely
East defense. Do. 3rd down and 4. What does Nick Cookshausen have in store? Snap goes to Cooper Dillon. Dillon slow plays it, hand on his lead blocker, and a burst for a 1st down. Needed 4, got 10. Chase County's Cooper Dillon. Drew Knitzer limping off the field for the East defense right now.
On the west side, Derek Knopfsinger out of Dundee County, 6'3", 340 pounds, leading the blocking on that running play for the West.
They're going to the heavy formation. Dillon, the ball carrier. Wild chasing him in the backfield. Gives a diving attempt, couldn't trip him up, but then Tragan McNally of Ainsworth with the tackle. Gain of about 3. It'll set up 2nd down, give him 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. So we mentioned it. Maybe Cooper Dillon could be one of the keys here for this West offense, and they've gone to the heavy set with Dillon. Dillon now replaced by Holly. Holly in. They'll stick with the heavy formation. They'll run left. Knopfsinger helping lead the way. Short gain. Wild there defensively again from Sandhills Thedford. That'll be a pickup of 2 for Luke Colley and sets up 3rd down right now for the West offense. They've got it at the East 41-yard line between the hashes with 4.5 to play. 10-7 the lead for the East. We have not had points since 6:26 to play in the 2nd quarter. 4:20 to go. Clock continues to run. Heavy set. Snap to Dillon. Looks like he wants to throw the football. It's going to be in and out of the hands of Rhett McFadden of Sandhills Thedford. He jumped. He didn't need to. He dropped the football right in the breadbasket. An easy INT opportunity goes by the boards for the East defense. I think it surprised him that he was literally had to feel like the intended receiver where that ball was thrown. So now Brock Berry comes back in, a more traditional passing offensive set. 2 receivers to the right, single receiver out to the left. Berry steps right, now steps up, floats it to Peyton Abbott, 1st down catch along the near sideline. Out of bounds at the 28-yard line. Zach Sundquist on the tackle. A gain of 11. Berry delivered a pretty pass right there to Abbott. Berry's impressed today, Jeff.
He's done a lot of good things for the West side. As you know, this game is only a 3-point ball game, and the East has had their opportunities, and so has the West.
I think Shadron's going to lose plenty of talent, but the stud back's back.
Yep,
Bailey's
Bailey's
again.
back. Yep.
So a home run threat at any point on every snap back for Shadron this next year. Direct snap to the running back from Sydney, Luke Holly. Wild again. It's almost like put it on repeat for the PA announcer. Zeb Wild from Sandhills Thedford racking up the stops right now for the East defense. Holly picks up 3, and that'll make it 2nd down and 7. And Jeff, on a day like today, with these guys not in total football shape, you start churning out first down after first down. It can really have a toll on the defense here.
Definitely churning things out on the ground. Plus, you put 15 minutes on the clock each quarter, and that adds up.
10-7 East, but West on the move, just outside the red zone. 2nd and 7 at the East 25-yard line. The snap to the running back. The reverse handoff goes to Peyton Abbott. Abbott takes it inside the 20. He's down to the 15. Mark it at the 14. He had 11 on the catch a few plays back. Now 11 on the ground. As Holly handed it off to Peyton Abbott. Nice gainer, and you got to hand it to these all-stars. I mean, for Luke Holly, he comes into this offense of Nick Cookshausen, and all of a sudden he's handing the football off here 3 days later.
Give credit to the West offensive line. Big hole for Peyton Abbott to run through after the handoff from Holly.
Barry in the shotgun. The snap goes right to Holly, and Holly's going to be chopped down as he's tackled at the 11. Wild again. Are we giving him the MVP trophy, or the defensive MVP trophy right now?
Like I said, there's a lot of names you're going to have to choose from.
Wild will be front and center among them. Gain of 4 for Holly. It'll be 2nd down and 6. A time-consuming drive right now for the West team. Can they pay it off with 6 and take the lead? Direct snap to Cooper Dillon. Dillon burst, and he's got a touchdown. Well, no signal yet. Now we get the signal. Into the end zone for Cooper Dillon from Chase County. An 11-yard sprint. It comes with 2:08 to play in the 3rd quarter. And that'll bring Jaden Curtis on for the PAT. As the West team has their first lead this afternoon at 13-10. Curtis with the PAT. Knocks it through. 14-10 lead. Curtis on the PAT after the Cooper Dillon 11-yard run. And with 2:08 to play in the 3rd quarter, 14-10 West. We're back after a 1-minute timeout on the Rural Radio Network. to 10. West with their first lead this afternoon after a long touchdown drive capped off by a Cooper Dillon 11-yard run. He's from Chase County. Jaden Curtis of Ogallala now 2 for 2 on the extra points. Curtis, short kick. That's going to bounce it around the 26-yard line. Picked up by McCook's Brett Fraker. Fraker stopped his feet for a moment, reverses field. He's got some room. He's at the 40 at midfield. Fraker on his feet at the 40. Still on his feet. This is going to be a kickoff return for a touchdown. Did we have a whistle?
We didn't.
I don't think we did. Did he step out of bounds?
Officials are looking at it. they didn't signal that he was out of bounds.
I have not seen a signal. This is a Brett Fraker touchdown return on the kickoff. I'm going to call it about 75 yards.
It will be a touchdown. He did not step out. I'm sure the West, it was right in front of the West bench where he got close to the sideline, but did not step out, and he takes it to the end zone, and big answer by the East after the West took a lead.
Boy, Fraker fielded it off a bounce, started up the middle, kind of stopped his feet, and then busted it out to the left to the near side. A lot of open room, and then great job body control to stay on his feet here as he was along the sideline, broke a tackle, a 75-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Coble the PAT. And with 1:53 to play in the third quarter, just like that, the West back in front. We're back after another 1-minute timeout on the Rural Radio Network. Wow.
Yep.
How many yards rushing does he have?
44.
Chris Cottrell, Jeff Kelly with you here. 1:53 to play in the third quarter. A 75-yard kick return for a touchdown for McCook's Brett Fraker. He also has 44 yards rushing right now, so those are a couple of numbers with a big touchdown included there that can get you into the offensive MVP mix for today. So the West first lead of the afternoon was short-lived. East kicks it off. Luke Holly from Sydney on the return. Holly out across the 20, across the 25. And it looks like he'll be brought down right around the 30 as the West will get the football back. So now here's one thing to think about, Jeff. There was not much of a breather for this East defense.
No. They're right back out on the field.
After a long time-consuming touchdown drive by the West, the East defense watched their kick return unit take one to the house, and just like that, they're back on the game field in short order. 1:47 to play here in this third quarter. Brock Berry smacks his hands. That equals a snap to Luke Colley, carrying the ball a little bit away from his body that time. Gets it back, held tight against his right side as the defender Xavier Albertson from North Platte arrived to make the tackle. Gain of 2 for Luke Holly from Sydney.
Holly carrying most of the offensive load for the West side. That was his 17th carry here this afternoon.
Don't remember too many bursts of runs, though, for Holly. Dillon had the touchdown run. They'll hand it off to Houchin on the little reverse look that time. The snap to Holly. It comes back to Houchin. And he'll pick up 4. That'll make it third down. No, he'll pick up 3. So a third down and 5 right now for the West. A key snap coming up. Well, if you throw here and you come up incomplete, probably need to punt it away here again. So we'll see what Nick Cookshausen, the head coach from Mitchell, has in store. They'll fake the handoff. Barry on the drop. He'll fire it. He's got Riley Anderson from Hyannis wide open on the catch across midfield to the East 47-yard line. Pickup of 17 yards. Anderson is a big target at 6'6" and 210 pounds. He was here last Friday for the Panhandle Prep All-Star basketball game as well. Final few seconds of the third quarter, ticking off the clock. This will be the final snap of the quarter. It goes to Cooper Dillon from Chase County on the direct snap to the running back. Dillon takes it inside the 45 to the East 44. That'll be a gain of 3 for Cooper Dillon. Horn sounds. We've got ourselves a competitive finish coming up here. They'll put 15 minutes on the clock. We'll head to the fourth quarter with the East in front 17-14 back after this 1-minute timeout on the Rural Radio Network. (17-14), East leading the West by 3. West football, second down and 6. Dillon floats it into the hands of Peyton Abbott. Abbott's turned into a real nice weapon here check that. That was Zach Aguayo, 44 instead of 14. The Gering High product on the catch for a gain of 5. That'll make it third down and a very short one right now for this West offense.
I'm going to hazard a guess. I think that's the first ever pass reception for Zach Aguayo in his high school career.
And it comes on an all-star Saturday. The Gering kids were funny the other day at Media Day, joking around. We got to wear red jerseys and play at Bearcat Stadium this week. But they said for an all-star game, it's all good. Brock Berry has gone the distance at quarterback here for the West. He'll take the snap. The handoff goes. This time to Cooper Dillon from Chase County, and he's got enough to move the chains. A first down run of 2 yards. It'll be 1st and 10 inside the East 35-yard line. So these last 2 possessions for the West offense have been pretty typical Mitchell High School style football. Move the chains and score some points. They did on their last drive. We'll see if they can capitalize and put 6 more on the board here on this possession. Direct snap. Holly hands it off. And now
came loose.
Peyton Abbott fumbled the football. The East comes up with the game's first turnover. Who came up with the fumble recovery? Was it McNally?
I think, yes, it was.
Tragan McNally. Boy, there was just a ton of bodies down there around the football as Abbott coughed it up. And that is our first turnover of the game, a crucial one. With 13:34 to go here in the fourth quarter as the West team was on the move. And Abbott with the fumble. And the East will get it back. They'll go with Gothenburg's Trey Stevens at quarterback. He led both their scoring drives in the first half. Inside give, Fraker, nowhere to run. That'll be a loss of 2 on the play. Wild was there, also Theron Miller up front. The big fella, Derek Knopfsinger from Dundee County Stratton. Stop in the backfield, so 2nd down and 12 now for the East offense. Boy, if you're the East, you want to at least pick up 1 first down here if you can move the chains, get that defense a little bit of a breather, and capitalize just a tiny bit off that turnover. Straight drop for Stevens. Stevens, low throw. Incomplete. Intended target was McCook's Aiden Meyer, and that one never had a chance. footwork was a little off on the delivery, and that one down in the dirt.
But you'd have to say Stevens has just been a little bit more accurate with the majority of his passes here this afternoon than Jake and Neal. And really, when you Trey Stevens at 6'4", a little bit better at seeing over his offensive lineman.
Yeah, Neal 5'9", 145. Stevens, the more prototypical QB body. Floats a deep ball, go route, incomplete, down around midfield. Intended receiver was Cash Gracie of South Loop. And an excellent job by the West defense, Jeff. After the turnover, they get a 3 and out. They'll get the offense right back on the field, still a one-score game.
And once again, West should get good field position off of this punt. We'll see what happens here. But I think on that last play, Gracie just kind of stopped his route, and pass was overthrown. If he'd have kept going, he may have had a chance to corral that pass as we've got a timeout.
Another thing, Knitzer limped off the field earlier. Now he is out there, so it looks like he will be punting. I was curious. I couldn't see. Hard to admit, I couldn't see Drew Knitzer in the huddle, but there he is. So a timeout. We'll step away. 12:49 to play in this contest. 17-14 East. We're back after this 1-minute break on the Rural Radio Network. Oops.
Go up and get it, go up and get it, go up and get it.
Out of the timeout, the East does punt the football away. West will have it 1st and 10, right hash mark at their own 44-yard line. 12:43 to play, Jeff. Pretty clean game. We've had just one turnover. I've got just 5 flags down that have been accepted so far today. So, and on top of that, a 3-point game here in the fourth quarter. Should be a great finish, 17-14. East with the lead, their defense back on the field. And really, that turnover, the only thing that slowed the West offense down the last 2 possessions. Direct snap goes to Sydney's Lou Colley. He's going to be tackled. Xavier Albertson, first to arrive, wrapping him up around the ankles. I think for me right now, Albertson and Wild stand out as my 2 top defenders in the ball game. We'll see what Taryn Wood from Hemingford. Hate to put him on the spot, but we'll see what Coach Wood comes up with.
Well, there have been a lot of good defensive performances here in this game. It's going to be a hard choice, but a couple of those names you mentioned probably leading the pack right now.
2nd down and 7. Barry in the shotgun. They'll run a little speed option look out to the right. Barry on the keeper, and he's going to have a 1st down. Into East territory, inside their 45, down to around the 44-yard line. That'll be a pickup of 10 for Brock Berry, who's shown a nice ability to scoot with the ball in his hands.
3rd longest run for Brock Berry in the contest, picks up the 1st down, and I'm sure the West would like to get some more points on the board.
This Shadron offense the last few years was pretty explosive. Berry in the gun. Shotgun snap, it goes to the running back, Lou Colley. Holly bulldozes his way forward off left tackle for a couple. They'll put the football at the 41-yard line. Pickup of 2 for Lou Colley. Houchin and Aguayo will check back into the West offense. Game clock now with 11:05 to play here in this fourth quarter. Coming off the field is Jackson Schwartz, one of the linemen, 6'1", 205 from the six-man program just down the road at Minutair. Holly motions right. Play action. Berry floats one. Intended target, Mitch Morvac. Pass intercepted by Broken Bow's Eli Coble. Coble's been excellent today in his overall game. Kicking and now an interception defensively. So the West with a turnover on back-to-back possessions. The interception thrown by Shadron's Brock Berry, and the East will get the ball back. And we'll see if they can do a little bit more with it off this turnover on this drive than they did the last time, where they went 3 and out.
Sure, we're going to get a big dose of Brett Fraker on this offensive possession for the East.
Jake and Neal from Alma back in at quarterback. Snap low on the turf, picked up by Neal, trying to avoid the defender. Can't do it. Big loss. Was that Sundquist? I believe it was Zach Sundquist of Holdridge. Or excuse me, looking at the wrong roster. Who made that tackle?
That I didn't see. I just, when the ball was snapped badly to Jake and Neal, it's kind of a fire drill after that to try and get on that ball, but a big loss for the East.
Loss of 10. Neal tackled back at the 6-yard line. Neal throws it out near side. On the catch is Sergio Lawarca from Lexington, 5'8", 150. He'll get a pickup of 4 out to the 10, so they get a little bit back on that completion, but now 3rd down and long. Tricky spot here. You're trying to protect just a 3-point lead, but you don't want to turn it over. But also, a handoff here feels like just a giveaway play to go ahead and punt it on 4th down. We'll see what the East offense has in store as they approach the line of scrimmage with 9 minutes and 16 seconds to play in the game. Riker motions from right to left. Quick pitch, it goes to Fraker. Fraker gonna have to cut back, and he'll be tackled after a gain of 3 is all for Brett Fraker from McCook. That'll take us under 9 minutes to play, and we'll bring up a 4th down and long. So, despite back-to-back turnovers by the West offense, their defense, following those turnovers, has produced back-to-back 3 and outs, and again set up to have some great field position here.
Chase Gracie, a good job that time to slow that play up, and say it once again, the West should get excellent field position off of this punt, but this is a nice punt right here.
Knitzer's punt fielded by Harriger from Gehring. He'll have about an 8-yard return, bring it across the 50, and the West offense will have outstanding field position at the East 47-yard line. The one touchdown the first touchdown that the West scored came on a Berry to Curtis wide open pass covering 26 yards on an out and up. Very little downfield passing for the most part today for the West side. Passing set, Berry looks right, fires it over the middle. Jaden Curtis on the catch. Touchdown score early. Big gainer here inside the 30 to around the 28. That'll be a gain of 19. Actually, they're going to spot it at the 26, so a gain of 21 that time as Berry connects with Oglala's Jaden Curtis. You saw Oglala during the regular season, and by the time you saw him, they didn't throw it much.
No, it was strictly on the ground.
Quarterback keeper this time for Brock Berry goes for no gain. So good job defensively from the East Side defenders that time. Knitzer up front. Neubauer. And also on that defensive front right now, Cozad's Tyree Smith. 2nd down and 10. Anderson from Hyannis splits out wide right. 2 receivers to the left. It's Curtis from Ogallala in the slot. Barry under pressure. Evades Neubauer. Still on his feet, but he'll succumb to the defensive heat that time. A sack. Well, he had a couple of guys there. Neubauer looked like he might have had the...
Neubauer in there, and Brock Berry earlier in this game had the same type of situation, surrounded by 3 defenders, able to work his way out of it, and that time not quite so lucky.
So the East defense trying to bow their collective neck here a little bit. They've got the West offense now looking at 3rd down and 14 from the 30-yard line. Now a little shift offensively to a spread formation. Barry in the gun. He'll fire it over the middle. Mitch Morvac from Gehring high on the catch for a 1st down to the 9-yard line. A pickup of 21 yards. Mitch Morvac going to play at Black Hills State University on the catch. Kind of spread the defense out, and a little tight end pop pass over the middle, wide open. And an opportunity now for the East. 1st and goal.
West having a little bit more success through the air on this drive.
They'll go that heavy package right now with Cooper Dillon from Chase County, looking to capitalize once again. He's got 1 rushing touchdown. This time he'll be tackled after a gain of maybe 2 yards. And that'll set up 2nd down and goal. Give Dillon 2 on the carry. You've seen the heavy package here from the West. Pretty good amount so far today. Game clock at 5 minutes and 40 seconds, continuing to run between plays. The West has churned out plenty of yards and 1st downs here in this late 3rd quarter, 4th quarter, but they've also turned it over twice. But the defense, off the turnovers, forcing a pair of 3 and outs. Cooper Dillon started to run. Now he's going to throw it.
Looking for Grady Robbins that time.
Grady Robbins sneaking out of the backfield into the right flat area. Intended receiver, passing complete. Now 3rd down and goal. Host of substitutions. Aguayo, Holly, Barry comes back on. Looks like they'll be out of that heavy package right now and see what the West has in mind. Holly will line up to the right of Barry. Offset, unbalanced line, strong side left. Orbit motion. They'll fake the inside handoff. Barry pitches it to Luke Holly, and he's tackled on the play. Excellent stop by Zach Sundquist of Holdridge that time. Boy, slow developing play here to this side.
It just really never got rolling that time for the West.
Gain of 2 to the 5-yard line for Luke Holly, and it brings up 4th and goal from the 5. Barry, the quarterback, will motion Holly out to the right. And now we're going to get a timeout taken by Nick Cookshausen. Overtime is not what we need here today, Jeff. 4:40 to play.
I think that time West trying to get the East defense to jump and get a little bit closer inside the 5-yard line, because when you get inside the 10, the defense they can loop and they can do whatever they want to do. Of course, the offense can too, but inside the 10, the defense has a little bit of an advantage.
A hard count is kind of a Bearcat Stadium staple here during the regular high school football season. Scottsbluff loves to utilize the hard count all over the gridiron. Timeout. We'll keep it right here. 4:40 to play. 17-14. East leading it by 3, but the West knocking on the door, looking at 4th and goal from the 5-yard line. They will come out with the field goal unit, and Jaden Curtis will have an opportunity to tie the game up with a 22-yard field goal attempt from the left hash mark. Looking to tie this game at 17. The snap back to Brock Berry. Curtis didn't have a lot of power on it, but splits the uprights. We do have a flag down. I think this is going to be on the defense. So this could be interesting. We wait on the signal. So running into the kicker, roughing the kicker.
So do you take the 3 points off and
Nick Cookshausen, the head coach for Mitchell, leading the West, visiting with the.
I was watching the ball to see if it went through the uprights and didn't see who ran into the kicker.
Yeah, they're going to put the offense back on the field here, it looks like.
That'll put the ball at the, let's say, what, the 2.5-yard line?
So 4th down and goal now from the 2.5. Half the distance to the goal. They'll spot it between the 2 and the 3-yard line. And Nick Cookshausen says, look, this is an all-star game. We're playing for the victory. What will he dial up here on 4th and goal from just outside the 2?
And then bringing the jumbo package in.
Aguayo, the fullback. You've got Holly to the right of Brock Berry. They'll snap it to Luke Holly. Holly is not going to get there. He's going to be tackled at the 1, and the East comes up with the stop on 4th down. The defensive line as a whole ruling the day right there for the East.
Bad news for the West, they don't get into the end zone. The good news is they've got the East offense at about the 1-yard line.
We saw a bad snap on the last offensive drive for the East, and rarely have they been under center. I think maybe just one time.
I think
is
Jake
all
and
today.
Neal's been the only one that's gone under center as a quarterback for the East.
So we'll have to watch the snaps right here.
Stevens in at quarterback.
That seems like the prudent move right now for the East offense. They have gone 3 and out on their last 2 offensive drives following West turnovers. This time, the West turns it over on downs, unable to convert on 4th and goal from the 2.5. And now the East will take a timeout. We will as well. 17-14 East in front. 4:32 to play. Back after a 1-minute break on the Rural Radio Network. East football at their own 1-yard line. 1st and 10, 99 yards to navigate. They do have a 3-point lead, trying to protect it. 17-14. They'll line up under center with an I formation behind the quarterback, Trey Stevens from New combination for these center and quarterbacks with working with one another this week. I formation, the handoff to Fraker. Grady Robbins of Gehring sticks him right in the hole. But the East will take that 3-yard run out to the 4-yard line. That feels like a home run carry.
Yep.
When you're backed up at your own 1. You'll take the 3. It'll be 2nd down and 7 now for the East.
15 carries for Brett Fraker in the game.
And also a 75-yard kickoff return for a touchdown that, if the score holds, would be the deciding play of this one here today, the 46th annual West Nebraska All-Star Football Game. 2nd and 7 for the East offense. Again, under center I formation. Albertson, the fullback, will lead the way for Fraker. And Robbins again in on the stop, but Fraker, nice job keeping those legs driving. He'll push the football out to the 10. That'll be a gain of 6 and make it 3rd down and 1. Nice job with an offensive line push. Albertson, the lead blocker, and Fraker hard charging out to the 10-yard line. Makes it a very manageable 3rd down and short now for the East offense.
Sure, we won't see anything out of the ordinary from this East team. This will probably be Brett Fraker once again.
I formation set, and it's Stevens, the quarterback, on the keeper. He needs to tuck the ball away, and he does. And the QB sneak turns into a big gainer out across the 20 to the 22. 12 on the carry for Trey Stevens, 6'4", 170 from Gothenburg, and a fresh set of downs. And a key 3-play sequence right there for the East.
Just everything on the ground, and next best thing to Brett Fraker is just have your quarterback take it on the quarterback sneak, and he picks up big yardage and a 1st down.
Just 2 timeouts remaining right now for the West. And now they can get back in the shotgun. They'll hand it off to Fraker. Fraker had his helmet knocked off. It wasn't the football. I think plenty of people in the stands thought the football was loose. No, that was his helmet. And
Brett Fraker's going to have to go out for a play.
he sure is. Gain of 1. And now a timeout, one of the 2 remaining used by the West defense. Will step away. 2:25 to play. East in front by 3. Back after this 1-minute timeout. Bearcat Stadium in Scottsbluff. 2:25 to play in the 4th quarter. East football, 2nd and 8, and they lead the West 17-14. It's been a good one here today for the 46th annual All-Star Football Game in Western Nebraska. I formation. They'll pitch it to Quincy Riker. Riker finds a seam, got some running room across the 30. Tackle made by Jaden Curtis of Alliance. They'll spot the football at the 35, a pickup of 10 and a 1st down. And that's going to be close to doing it, I think here.
So. The West taking their last time out.
So we'll keep it right here with 2:17 to play. After our post-game show finishes up, Jeff and I will pack things up and we'll make the very short drive up the hill to Western Nebraska Community College. Beautiful facility, Cougar Palace, for our volleyball matchup. That'll have first serve at 3 o'clock a little later this afternoon. Here at Bearcat Stadium, the East trying to close out the West team and pick up their 5th straight win in the series. In front, 17-14. The 2 touchdowns scored in the 3rd quarter came in the span of 15 seconds. Cooper Dillon with 2:08 to play in the 3rd, a touchdown run for the West to give them their first lead. And then McCook's Brett Fraker, a 75-yard kickoff return for a touchdown, with the East right back in front immediately. Riker on the carry. They've decided to go to some speed on the edge here to milk the clock here in this final drive, or at least hopefully the final drive for the East. A gain of 8 for Quincy Riker, the slot back, but working in the backfield here on these toss sweeps. The twin loop product. 2nd and 2, no timeouts for the West, so we'll see if they go to the QB sneak here with Stevens. Stevens under center I formation. Nope, they'll hand off an ISO play. It goes to Riker. Riker's going to have the first down. Big carry, big gainer inside the West 45 down to the 43. Pick up a 14 on the carry for Quincy Riker, and that should equal victory formation right now for the East football team.
Little change of pace from the East with Riker not as big a back as Fraker is, and he's able to pick up some big yards with some quick speed.
1:10 to play, clock running. Stevens will take the knee, and that will do it in terms of what will be our final score here tonight. The only thing that can get in the way is a fumbled snap. So one more completed snap here, and that should do it, with the final score set to be 17-14 as the East looks to win their 5th straight game in this series. And Stevens takes a knee. The final snap of the game. Plenty of great sportsmanship being shown by these All-Stars down around the West 42-yard line. And the East will celebrate. They give Brendan Johnson a Gatorade tub bath of water there. He'll take it. A victory here for the East. The handshake line at midfield. And your final score as the horn sounds. East wins it once again here in the West Nebraska All-Star football game. Final score, 17-14. And we'll step away and come back with our post-game show after this 1-minute timeout on the Rural Radio Network. afternoon here in Scottsbluff at Bearcat Stadium as the East All-Stars win our 46th annual West Nebraska football game over the West team today, 17-14. Jeff, plenty of good sportsmanship after the game, as you would expect here in an all-star setting. Pretty competitive action here throughout the day.
Really was well-played game by both sides. I think, what you say, we only had 5 penalties in the entire game. We had 1 or 2 turnovers. We had an interception, a fumble. So, in this type of an all-star setting where they don't have a lot of time to, what they have from Wednesday till Saturday, not a lot of time to get things really buttoned down. But both these teams did a great job here tonight, a very well-played game.
Give you a little bit of a scoring recap as some of the post-game awards are sent to be announced. We'll keep an eye on that. For the East team, they got on board in the first quarter with 7:21 to play as Gothenburg quarterback Trey Stevens connected with North Platte receiver Jesse Mock on a 17-yard touchdown catch. Then Brock Berry for the West answered on a touchdown heave to Jaden Curtis. Berry from Shadron, Curtis from Ogallala covered 26 yards, excuse me. And the East took a 10-7 lead at halftime on an Eli Coble field goal, 36-yard boot with 6:26 to play in the second quarter. Third quarter, again, we said late in the ball game, we mentioned 15 seconds is all the time that lapsed between the 2 second-half touchdowns. Cooper Dillon, an 11-yard run for Chase County for the West, gave them their first lead at 14-10, but on the ensuing kickoff, McCook's Brett Fraker fielded it off a bounce, scampered about 75 yards to pay dirt, and that wound up as the deciding score in this game. Fraker on the 75-yard kick return. They've announced the sportsmanship winners for this week. Jarrett Peterson for the West from Chase County. Drew Knitzer from Highline, the sportsmanship winner for the East football team. Now we're going to get the MVP announcements right now.
Our most valuable player, sponsored by Epic's football camps, is number 48 from Sand Hills, Rhett McFadden.
So it'll be Rhett McFadden with the, was that the defensive MVP? Must have been.
Very, it could be, yeah. It was.
Jeremy Epp from Epic Sports is here to present.
Epic Sports presenting the defensive MVP trophy.
Most valuable player from the offense.
And now the
From Shadron,
offensive MVP today will be Shadron's Brock Berry. So each side with an MVP award.
Talked about Brock Berry quite a bit over the last week, and he gets the most valuable player on the offensive side for the West.
17-14 your final score. We'll step away once again, continue on our post-game show when we come back after this 1-minute timeout on the Rural Radio Network.
Fans and spectators, thank you for coming today. We appreciate you supporting our games. If you can help us with your trash that's by you, we would greatly appreciate that as you exit today. Again, thank you for coming, and safe travels to everyone traveling home today. And those that are going to volleyball, we hope you enjoy a great contest at WNCC. Thank you.
Chris Cottrell, Jeff Kelly back with you here on the Rural Radio Network, 107.3 The Trail. Our stations in Lexington and Broken Bow as well. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. 17-14, the final score. Again, let's give you the scoring recap, and then I'll turn it over to Jeff for a look at some individual statistics. Very rough unofficial rundown on the individual stats. But scoring-wise, Gothenburg-Stevens connected with Mock from North Platte for a 17-yard touchdown pass to make it 7-0 with 7:21 to play in the first quarter. West answered back. Shadron's Brock Berry to Ogallala's Jaden Curtis 26-yard strike with 38 seconds to play. The PAT from Curtis made it 7-7. Only other points in the first half came with 6:26 to play in the second quarter. Eli Coble from Broken Bow, a 36-yard field goal, 10-7 with the East in front at halftime. And then both touchdowns and all the points in the second half coming in a 15-second stretch in the third quarter. 2:08 to play. Chase County's Cooper Dillon, an 11-yard run on a direct snap. Curtis, the PAT, made it 14-10, and on the ensuing kickoff, McCook's Brett Fraker fielded the kickoff on one hop. 75 yards later, nice return, started middle, broke it out left, got down the near sideline, broke a tackle, stayed in bounds, took it to the end zone. Coble's PAT capped things off 17-14. The final score as the East wins it here today. Jeff, how about some individual numbers with what you've got?
We will see what we got. On the west side, the most valuable offensive player, Brock Berry. I've got him 7 out of 15 for 132 yards. He had 1 touchdown, 1 interception for the West. On the rushing side, Brock Berry with 10 carries for 48 yards. Big load carried by Holly out of Sydney as he finishes with 20 carries for 55 yards on the afternoon. Haushen from Bayard with 5 carries for 21 yards. Peyton Abbott finishes with 6 carries on the afternoon for 29 yards. Dillon with 7 carries for 39 yards. He had a touchdown for the West. On the receiving side, Anderson with a catch for 17. Moravik with a catch for 21 yards. Abbott with a catch for 11. 2 catches for Tristan Timbers for 12 yards. And Jaden Curtis with 2 catches for 45 yards for the West. On the east side of the ledger, Jake and Neal, 3 out of 4 for 32 yards on the afternoon. And Stevens finishes up 4 out of 13 with 32 yards and a touchdown for him. On the rushing side, Fraker with the bulk of the load for the East as he finishes up with 17 carries and 52 yards for Brett Fraker. Riker this afternoon with 6 carries, with 450 yards. Safranik carried the ball 3 times for 21 yards. Stevens on the ground with 4 carries for him and 45 yards. Cooper Keene with 2 carries for 7 yards this afternoon. Keene on the receiving side, a catch for 15. Malzahn with a catch for 8. And Mock with 1 catch for 17. Fraker with 1 reception for 12 yards. And Riker with 1 reception for 13 yards on the east side.
There you have it, some individual numbers. Tough to keep track of here in an all-star setting, but that's what we've got from high atop Bearcat Stadium in the press box here on a lovely Saturday afternoon for all-star high school football at Bearcat Stadium in Scottsbluff. 17-14 your final score. Again, your offensive MVP as announced by Epic Sports was Shadron's Brock Berry, and Rhett McFadden, the defensive MVP from Sandhills Thedford. Berry from the west, McFadden from the east. And your sportsmanship winners from the west, Jarrett Peterson of Chase County and Drew Knitzer from Highline for the east side. That's going to cover it here for our broadcast today. Jeff and I will pack things up and head up to WNCC's Cougar Palace. We'll get set up there and have volleyball coverage for you starting late next hour, about 1 hour from now at 2:45 with first serve slated for 3 o'clock at WNCC. Appreciate everybody tuning in on our Lexington and Broken Bow stations for the coverage today. Once again, your final score 17-14. East beats the West for a 5th straight year. Now a 5-game winning streak. 17-14 the final. East over the West. For Jeff Kelly, I'm Chris Cottrell. That'll do it for football coverage. Volleyball on the way on the trail coming up 1 hour from now.